Hey, everybody. Welcome back, Internet family and friends. As you pop on, please hit the like button, drop your name over here in comments. Tell me where you are watching from. I found some very interesting information that I want to share with you guys tonight. If you have not heard, we have an Arctic freeze like we have not seen supposedly in 100 years, aiming for South Louisiana. Hey, Hoppensee. And we may lose power, internet service, as well as water here on our farmstead for a couple of days next week. So I just wanted to let you guys in on what I just found. So there was a gentleman that moved from Atlanta, Georgia a few months ago. He said that the Lord woke him up in a dream and told him that he needed to go to California and warn them now to evacuate as many people as possible. Now, we're going to talk about that. We're also going to talk about the wildfires. We're going to talk about the Marshall Plan. We're going to talk about the end of single family dwellings across America. This is a plan put in place by globalists to basically herd us all into 15-minute cities. You guys are not going to want to miss a minute of this information. Also, the best way that you can support our channel is share this video in text messages and emails. You guys, when you do that, you're actually pushing it out through the algorithm. And it's so important because that helps more people find us. We've been shadow banned for a bit, but God's fixing to take care of that. So let's start with this. And not even before I show you the guy that calls himself a prophet, I'm going to show you what climate scientists are telling people about California. So let's get busy.
Cars. Anything you cannot live without, put it in the car and take it. Because this is imminent. Do not wait for an official evacuation notice. If you think you should leave, get out. Get out.
So you're hearing that a lot. People are basically saying, guys, look, don't wait on these evacuation notices. If you think you need to get out, get out. Hi, everybody. Okay, so let's keep going. So there was a gentleman that he moved all the way from Atlanta to warn people. Let me see.
For an electric car park. Some weird stuff's happening in LA. Look, people got suitcases. Okay, that's the line right now for an electric car parking. There's already no water inside of the grocery store, literally none. LA, San Diego, both major port cities. The biggest ports on the West Coast. San Diego, LA, they're both catching on fire. Hollywood Hills now has a massive moving fire. It's all of the firefighters from California. Most of them have moved to LA to try and support Los Angeles. And I mean, it sounds like a big chess game here. That's going to get everyone fucked. Now, here's the problem. Power grid goes down. It's already gone down in many areas. No electricity, no gas, no food, no water, no sewage. Pentagon predicts that within 30 days of a power outage, 97% of the population is dead. So get the fuck out of LA. Send this to your friends. I'm not trying to scare you. I'm just saying things are getting weird. And look, it's evident. I'm literally at the grocery store. It's late as fuck. It's packed. It's always empty. It's fucking packed right now. That's the fucking car line. Electric car line. Look, it goes on and on and on and on. And those are all electric car things. It keeps going. Something is fucking weird. It's happening. My reputation's on the line. I am a very, very successful guy. My reputation's on the line. I wouldn't be saying this shit if I wasn't worried about it and if I didn't care about you. But I think that I should use my platform to share my knowledge. If you're in LA, get on a fucking flight, get the fuck out, try and do something, because if shit hits the fan, it's gonna be too late. It's gonna be too late. You gotta act before everyone else acts.
Okay, so let me ask you guys this hypothetically. LA is one of those states that is pushing for the electric car, the EV, right? So with an electric car, you literally have to plug it in to charge it. So if you're having massive power grid issues, fires, overload on the power grid, and you need to get in your car to evacuate and you can't charge the car, what happens? I'm just saying. I think that's the most insane thing ever. That's just me. What do I know? All right, let's keep going.
Evacuate the state of California right now.
Drew the prophet.
We're talking all the celebrities gone in one day. We're talking all respect, man. We had to grow with it, spreading the message.
Okay, so it looks like his name is, he calls himself Drew the Prophet. He comes from Atlanta. He flies into California. Now, he has a wife and children in Atlanta. He said God woke him up, gave him a dream a few months ago, and he told him, go to California. Tell these people, get out of California. The San Andreas fault is fixing to light up. The other day, if you've been watching my lives, I showed you guys, this lady showed you how when the fires started in California, they started having earthquakes. All along, it went down North America, down South America. Louisiana had one. Florida had one. Virginia had one. I mean, it was like these earthquakes sort of popping off, but it circled the entirety of the globe. No, I'm not making it up. Go look it up yourself. The entire earth was having an earthquake at one time. Now, this gentleman is like, I was sitting here to tell you to get out of California to save yourself and your children. I mean, come on, you guys. Yes, the Bible tells us that in the end times, our old men will dream dreams and our young men will have prophecies, right? So, I mean, it is possible. It is. I don't know who this guy is, so I'm not like, putting my name behind him. But I am telling you guys that it is possible that God woke him up and told him to do this. Also, Matthew 24, 6-8. The Lord Jesus said, and you shall hear of wars and rumors of wars. See that you do not be troubled. For all of these things must come to pass, but the end is not yet. For nation shall rise against nation and kingdom against kingdom, and there shall be famines and pestilences and earthquakes in diverse places. All these are the beginning of sorrows. Now, a little bit more on this guy. Hold on, it's going to get right.
Whoever that guy was that was telling people that they need to leave California, God woke him up and told him to go to California and sound the alarm to get all his people out of there. Sir, what is God telling you to do now? Because I'm all ears.
I mean, people are waking up. It says, so no one remembers the guy named Drew the Prophet who stopped his whole life to fly to California, tell everyone to evacuate before the wildfires. Let's keep going. Here is what happens when there's an earthquake in California.
Junction. It's where three tectonic plates meet and the Northwest's Cascadia subduction zone and California's San Andreas fault system meet. The quake itself occurred on the Mendocino fault zone. Not only is the Cascadia subduction zone anticipating a 9.0 earthquake, the San Andreas fault line is also anticipating a magnitude 9.0 or greater. The Cascade Volcanic Arc connects all the Pacific Northwest volcanoes from Washington state to Northern California. Are these the birth pains of something huge on the horizon? Follow and like to get...
I'm just saying, you guys, watch this.
Hold on Oasis. Watch.
That was November 24th, 2024. The earth is having birth pains, folks.
TikTok. Okay. His name's Drew the Prophet. He's going viral right now, and a lot of people are talking about him because he left his home in Atlanta. Yeah. Decided to go to California because he had a dream. And what he claims is that God came to him in a dream and told him that he has to warn all of California because there's going to be a natural disaster that's pretty much a tsunami will take out all of California.
So it's gonna happen, or like it happened already?
That's what they're saying. Okay. He's saying it's gonna happen. Right. And he's not too far off because they're there is a lot of studies saying there's something going on with the fault lines. Yeah. And that's what, that's kind of his leverage there. Like, it is something that could happen. But he specifically flew over there to start warning people now. And he's claiming, like, yo, I got a vision from God. Like, you guys have to get out. He's so dead ass. Like, it's so serious.
Okay, so let me tell you what he's saying. He's saying it's not just the earthquake. It's the tsunami behind the earthquake that's going to completely decimate the coastal areas where all the fires have been in California. And let me tell you what I found the day, like 2 days into the fires on January 9th.
California, just to reiterate what we know at this point, a 6.6 magnitude earthquake rattling northern parts of the state, prompting tsunami warnings. The U.S. Geological Survey saying that the quake was centered off the coast in Northern California, but was felt as far away as the San Francisco Bay Area. A second 5.8 magnitude quake struck just north of San Francisco. The National Weather Service issuing that tsunami warning. You can see some of the cars there filling the local freeway and a lot of emergency responders as well.
You see how close they are to the ocean?
Again,
a tsunami warning, yet your evacuation route is about 50 yards from the ocean? Really? I mean, that's like South Louisiana saying, hey, we're going to take you on an evacuation route, but yo, we got to bring you right by the Gulf. I mean, come on now. Come on now, y'all. Something's got to happen. California's in serious trouble. But Drew came there and he's serious about warning people. He even has t-shirts, Evacuate California t-shirts. This is him.
Repeat that's connected to the middle of California. So right here is Los Angeles, up here in San Francisco, down here in San Diego. So when this piece chip, oh my God.
So you heard him. What God showed him was that, okay, let me draw it out for you guys. Hold on. Patience, Patty one. Pacific Ocean, California. You see this line? That's the coast. He's saying back here to Los Angeles is going to chip, fall into the ocean, and then the ocean's going to come up in a tsunami and take the rest of it out. Now, I'm just telling you what I found. Why am I sharing that? Because I do believe that people can be given a word from the Lord. I mean, like it happens. The Lord can warn us of what's coming. That is the job of the Holy Spirit. So a lot of times when I'm praying, I ask the Lord for knowledge and wisdom. I'm like, God, I need to know what to do in this situation. Can you tell me how to prepare for what's coming in the future? That's the job of the Lord. You can ask the Holy Spirit to download knowledge and wisdom into you. That's literally his job. We weren't taught all this stuff like we should have been as Christians in this country. Now, let's talk about single family dwellings. I brought to you guys not long ago. I told y'all, California's fixing to rezone, not just the Palisades, but also Malibu, because they don't want you building back single dwelling homes. Why? Because there's not enough money. It's not enough money. So let me find it.
Objects like vehicles.
Let me find it for you guys.
Fog show up all around the world.
Oh yeah, let's start with the smart dust.
Fog show up all around the world. People have been experiencing some strange things. I'm gonna tell you what I think it is. I have Chat GPT here. I'm gonna show you in one take, no edits. Let's see. Hello, can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you. How can I help?
Explain to me with a little bit of detail what smart dust is.
Smart dust consists of tiny wireless sensors, each as small as a grain of sand. These sensors can detect and measure environmental conditions, such as temperature, light, vibration, or chemicals. They communicate wirelessly and can work together to gather and transmit data, often in real time. This makes them useful for applications in fields like environmental monitoring, industrial automation, and even military surveillance.
So if the military wanted to use this to collect data from civilians or anything they really wanted, they could do that?
Yes, but we could use smart dust for data collection, including surveillance. The technology's small size and wireless capabilities make it versatile for various applications, including monitoring environments discreetly. However, the use of such technology would be subject to legal and ethical considerations.
Mm-hmm. Thank you.
I think that says a lot. Oh, thank you, Hop and See. Thank you so much for supporting our channel. Much love, friend. Much love. Okay, so let's jump into this, guys. So are they going to allow single-family dwellings much longer in the United States? And the answer to that question is no. How do I know it?
Gavin Newsom, speaking of that plan, did say that he has a Marshall Plan to rebuild the fires, and this was just days. The fire was still burning when he said this. And he's not saying we've got to make a plan, we're going to do whatever we can. But he's like, no, we have a plan. We've got a plan to rebuild. And you're like, what? Well, how would you have a plan to rebuild? You don't even know yet what will have been destroyed, or do you? But he does. I mean, we've seen the plan. It's right here. It's called Smart LA 2028. It came out 5 years ago, December 2020. And it tells them exactly what they are hoping to do. And it also turns out that they get to have this all done in time for the 2028 Olympics, which is also in LA.
So convenient.
For Los Angeles after the fires are put out, and that they're going to rebuild, but it's going to be fundamentally different.
Yep.
And so in my opinion, this translates to Malibu and the Pacific Palisades will be turned into high-density housing for all kinds of people to come in and live. And that it's not going to be single-family homes anymore, because obviously that seems to be the agenda nationwide. Getting rid of as many single-family homes as possible and putting in a shitload of high-yield housing, which is basically close together, stacked on top of each other apartments no one wants to live in. But of course, when that's all you're building and you're not building single-family homes, you don't have much of a choice, do you?
Nope.
And I have a feeling that the state of California isn't just going to allow a bunch of single-family homes to be built in Malibu or the Pacific Palisades again. So get ready for Los Angeles 2.0. I'm sure it's going to be some type of woke Agenda 2030 hellscape, isn't it?
It is.
Hey, what's up?
But it's not just California.
See this cataclysmic
Canada.
state decline. What we're simply going to see is a shift from 65% home ownership to 50%.
I just read that the population of Canada is projected to double by 2046.
I wonder how that's going to happen.
Insane.
Yeah.
So when you say, the shift is going to go from 65, it's going to get inverted. It's going to be actually 65% renters.
Exactly.
How is that possible? Well, because our population is going to double.
Yeah.
Nobody's going to be able to afford a home except for the wealthy or people that are already in the market. Again, that's why we're seeing all these condo towers, they're building them as condos, like you said, but they're actually not selling them. They're renting them all out. And that's also why you're seeing all of the incentives. None of them were to build single-family detached homes.
Nope.
They're for 4 units plus. 5% GST tax break, HST tax break. Also, I read that Scarborough just hopped on. They have a Canada-wide housing accelerator plan, but they'll only give the money to municipalities that fall in line with their objectives. What's one of their objectives? Zoning.
Yeah.
Zoning.
4 units plus.
Zoning.
If you don't change your zoning plan, you don't get the money.
Yeah.
You don't get no money.
Home zoning in Miami-Dade County may be
Florida.
Let's find out why. A rule that went into effect in 2017 as part of Miami-Dade County's workforce housing program allows for duplexes to be built on traditionally zoned single-family homes in unincorporated Miami-Dade. The rule allows for lots zoned for single-family homes in these areas to be built with multiple housing units on their property, with the number depending on the size of the lot. The rule requires no zoning variance, hearings, or notifications to neighboring homeowners, just an administrative okay from the county zoning division. In order to qualify, developers must price these homes affordably for middle-income families, either 60 to 120% of the county's median household income, around $75,000, or pay a contribution to the county's affordable housing fund. Roughly 87% of residential land in Miami-Dade County is dedicated towards single-family housing.
But they want to change that. Oh, blue garbage cans that don't burn. Love these.
with a nice car. What kind of car was it? I don't know.
Yeah, because the wildfire burns everything but the trees. Hey, who knew?
It was a nice cul-de-sac. Completely gone. This is insane. Is it a computer?
Yep, that's a computer.
Yeah.
Make sure to hit the like button, drop in comments, tell me where you're watching from, folks.
Torched. That's a very expensive tree. I bet you he will still stay alive, though. What I find very interesting is all these garbage cans that are, blue. The blue ones are everywhere. Untouched.
Untouched blue garbage cans everywhere. Okay.
Laws that are supposed to prevent rental price increases exceeding 10%. Some property owners seem to be exploiting people's desperation.
Oh,
and they're
wow.
now
People do
rental
that?
prices that have jumped from $4,300 a month to $44,000.
Have you looked at Zillow or anything like that?
No, knowing the challenge I'm going to have.
Okay, Anthony, you keep thinking
in a
that.
safe area or a place that has grass.
Paul and her 12-year-old Jade escaped their home where the single mom paid more than $1,000 below market value.
I make $3,700 a month. And the average two-bedroom is $2,500, $2,800. It's unrealistic.
As the smoke clears, the scale of loss is coming into focus. 12,000 homes gone. Even before the fires, Los Angeles needed to build 450,000 affordable housing units to meet demand. On average, a new apartment building takes 4 years to build.
This is a housing crisis on top of a housing crisis.
A data analysis by Zillow finds 97% of LA households can't afford the mortgage for the average home price here, nearly $1 million.
And I've been homeless before, so it's so triggering to have vowed to myself, I'll never have us in this kind of situation again. So
it's not your fault,
we're
sweetheart.
just desperately looking for permanent housing.
And the punishment for overcharging on rent in an emergency situation like this is a fine of up to $10,000 for landlords. That doesn't seem to be a deterrent, at least in some.
I told you guys this yesterday or a couple of days ago, and a lot of people just don't understand that I'm telling you the truth in these situations. Hey, if you're in California and you didn't get burned out, congratulations. But listen to me carefully. If you're a renter, let me tell you what's fixing to happen. You may have a very high chance of being displaced by people who did lose everything they owned in the fires. How do I know this? Because what's going to happen is they're going to have FEMA money, which is going to get them a higher rent. They're going to have more money they can spend on rent. And the landlords are going to be like, yo, look, I can charge $3,000 more a month for this apartment. And Sally's going to pay it because FEMA's going to give her the money. So they're going to evict you and put Sally in the apartment. But you won't have FEMA to help you find a place to live. Now, that didn't make sense to you. It's because you've never lived through a natural disaster in a place like California or Maui. Hey, sweetheart.
How you doing?
He just got back from his father's house. Thank you all for praying for my father-in-law. He's doing a little bit better, but we need to stay on top of his health right now. All right, so let me tell you what I found about the Marshall Plan, because I too caught the semblance, Marshall Plan, martial law. What is the difference? And when you're talking California, I don't think it's much. Newsom sparked conspiracy theories by hinting at invoking a Marshall Plan to rebuild LA 2.0. But what does he mean? He is trying to turn the Pacific Palisades into a communist dump, one social media user claimed. I kind of feel that way too. California Governor Gavin Newsom has indicated that he will remove some building restrictions for victims of the Los Angeles wildfires, which he said Sunday is part of an effort to push for a Golden State version of the Marshall Plan to rebuild LA 2.0. Now, what is the Marshall Plan? That is the most important thing. So I found this. The original Marshall Plan was also known as ERP, European Recovery Program. The Marshall Plan, April 1948 to December 1951. is a U.S.-sponsored program designed to rehabilitate the economies of 17 Western and Southern European countries in order to create stable conditions in which democratic institutions could survive. The United States feared that the poverty, unemployment, and dislocation of the post-World War II period were reinforcing the appeal of communist parties to voters in Western Europe. On June 5th, 1947, in an address at Harvard University, Secretary of State George C. Marshall advanced the idea of a European self-help program to be financed by the United States. I mean, let's be honest. If we took back funding to every country that we finance and stop paying money to the UN, the World Economic Forum, you and I would have a great living. I'm just saying, I know that may be unpopular, but it's so bad in America that your young adult children and grandchildren may never own a home, a single dwelling home. And with the rezoning going on nationwide in all these major cities, there's a very good chance that will never happen for them. So there goes their American dream. The truth of the matter is that Europe's requirements for the next 3 or 4 years of foreign food and other essential products, principally from America, are so much greater than her present ability to pay that she must have substantial additional help or face economic, social, and political deterioration of a very grave character. On the basis of a unified plan for Western European economic reconstruction, presented by a committee representing 16 countries, the U.S. Congress authorized the establishment of the European Recovery Program that was signed into law on April 3rd, 1948. Aid was originally offered to almost all the European countries, including those under military occupation by the Soviet Union. All right. So what did they do? They basically distributed $13 billion. Now, this is back in the late 40s. Early 40s. Like, guys, 80 years ago. $13 billion worth of economic aid, helping to restore industrial and agricultural production, establish financial stability, and expand trade. There it is. Okay, so a lot of people wanted to tell me, oh, you don't understand, the areas burning have nothing to do with food production. It has a lot to do with the ability for them to offload ships. And there is something called a regional food delivery system, folks. The farms are in rural areas, but that food has to be picked, cleaned, packaged, and then transported. And a whole lot of it is transported into Los Angeles and then out of Los Angeles. So now they're going to have to reconfigure all of that. So you can see a lot of food shortages happening in states nearby California and food costs going up. Also, the battery fire that's going on is going to contaminate a lot of food that's in ground. So yes, Miss Beverly, everything we're seeing is connected. Everything we're seeing is connected. So I just want to tell you that, you guys, that like, comment, subscribe, hit the like button, share this video out. Folks, listen to me. We have got to start getting prepared. All of you should already have bug out bags. I have videos on bug out bags. There's not a person listening to me right now or will listen to me tomorrow or next week or a year from now that does not have any kind of a bug out bag. So it is saying that the battery fire is contaminating the whole San Luis Valley where much of the country's produce is grown. Yes, 90% of the greens that Americans eat come from California. 90% of the nuts that Americans eat comes from California. So if they can destroy that, where are you going to get that salad mix, my friends? I'm just curious. Just asking. I mean, already the cattle industry is in terrible condition, but don't worry. Don't worry. If you saw my video earlier today, you know that Bill Gates owns almost 40% of all the usable farmland in America. And he is on the job, guys. He's going to make sure you get your bugs or your fake meat. So don't worry. Oh, thanks, Elizabeth. I wouldn't want to run for Congress. I'm not lying to you. Though I will be running for a local position in my community. Because if I can do anything, I can help support and keep my area rural. And I'm tired of the drive-by shootings and all the other nonsense going on in my community. So, all right, guys, I love you very much. My husband's back. He's been gone all day, so he comes first. Like, comment, subscribe, share this everywhere. If you live in California, maybe you need to be listening to old dude. And if at all possible, maybe it's time to move, friend. Maybe it's time to move. Love you guys. Have a blessed night.